Today we have the key to the 2020 Mercedes Benz S-63 AMG. I'm extremely excited to take you on the road in this 605 horsepower beast. This car is absolutely the pinnacle of AMG performance, luxury, and comfort, all rolled into a four-door sedan that is really iconic and unmistakable on the road. This vehicle set in obsidian black metallic with the chrome accents all around. And this is the 6th generation of the S63. They came out with the new 7th generation, which features an E-Performance or a hybrid version of this vehicle on the W223 body style. This is the W222 and the final year of its production. This feature is set in this gorgeous obsidian black metallic. It's kind of a flaky, dark black. Definitely an AMG option, and you can't really see it right now, unfortunately, but you do have some sparkly metallic flakes in there when you see the car in the sunlight. Let's get around to the back, give you a little side profile view of this vehicle. This body style, certainly more of a swoopiness to it, to the 6th gen as opposed to the 7th gen from what I've noticed. The 7th gen features that facelifted front grille with that new kind of iconic, I forget what they call it, but it's kind of that bubble grille. I'll throw a picture up of what that looks like. Very good looking. You got the quad AMG tailpipes. Go ahead, pop the trunk open. Some pretty good space. You also have this nice drawer here. Looks like the driver's manual, first aid kit. Yep, first aid kit. And, you know, overall, decent amount of space. The real highlight of this car has to be the back seat. So iconically AMG, so comfortable. Let's get in. Oh, you sit down and you're just met with the most comfortable rear pillows on your head. It's just so comfortable. These things are ridiculously plush, so nice. Feels like a first class seat back here. Really, it does. If we look over here to the side, interior in carbon fiber all across this car. The back seats are adjustable. Looks like about 3 ways. I can recline, I can change the headrest height, I can actually move the seat up or down. Pretty awesome. You can also control the windows. There's also window screens, and there's also ability to control the rear sunroof, as well as the rear sunshade, which is in the actual back windshield. Looking in the middle here, got a little storage in the center. This car does seat 5, but wouldn't recommend it. Not much space here. Be smushed in the middle. But 2 cup holders. You got the wireless charging. Going up front here. Let's pop the front if I can find it.
A few moments later.
There it is. Okay, let's talk about this engine. Hand built by one AMG engineer, Dominic Stark, from beginning to end. It's a 4-liter V-8 BiTurbo engine, putting out 603 horsepower, 664 pounds of torque to those wheels. Absolutely sick engine, totally hand built. Thank you, Dominic Stark. You did a great job. This car is an absolute beast. The coolest thing about this car, I think, is it's just its ability to be really, really fast when you want it and really, really comfortable when you don't. When you jump in here, greeted with this gorgeous steering wheel. I mean, look at this thing. Polished silver everywhere. You got this performance kind of leather, Napa kind of leather, which is super nice. Interior carbon fiber everywhere. All the buttons in this polished stainless steel. Burnmeister high-end 3D audio system, which sounds freaking amazing. You also got the IWC real watch here. This is an amazing touch. Seriously, like, the new versions have this digital version in the dash, and this is just so classy. I mean, look at that IWC in your car. I love this twin dashboard setup. You know, you got everything that's driver focused in the center here, everything that's infotainment, maps based here. Of course, you got Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, all of that stuff here, and then you have this giant screen. It's like a very cool setup. I know the new ones have this kind of stack system with, of course, the driver-focused dashboard as well, but in general, I like and prefer this version. We're gonna start off in Sport Plus mode, because who has time for comfort when you have 603 horsepower? We're also gonna go into manual mode. And one thing I don't necessarily prefer is the way you're selecting the actual drive functionalities here. Yeah. You can hear that 4-liter V8 still sounds pretty awesome despite being a BiTurbo. Somehow AMG is able to engineer a great sounding car despite that turbocharger. I'm gonna hop on the highway here. Brakes are so good. You got 15-inch AMG upgraded brakes in the front, a little bit smaller in the rear, but overall the brakes are awesome. And this car sits right now on Pirelli Soto Zeros snow tires because we're in New Jersey. If you follow this channel, you probably noticed that most of the videos have been in Florida, Miss Florida, but we also have to come back to New Jersey occasionally to drive some of these awesome cars. And I just can't wait for the first snowstorm. It hasn't been particularly cold, which I prefer, but we haven't got much snow so far in New Jersey here. So no opportunities really to drive this car in the snow because it has that 4MATIC Plus all-wheel drive system on this S63, and it's really fantastic. I've driven in the snow in this car, and it's awesome. It handles so well. You put some good snow tires like these Pirelli Soto Zeros, and you really can have a blast. Car is so quick when you need it to be. Just fun. Sounds so good. That exhaust is so throaty, so deep. Something that you kind of get out of these AMG engines. A couple downshifts, you hear those burp holes. Yeah. We are on our way right now to some better roads. I want to show you a little bit more of the performance handling, how this car does around some curvy roads. This car sits on these Pirelli Soto Zeros, so you're not going to get the performance of that summer tire, but we'll see how this car does. I think overall you're going to like it, but I want to get more of the performance aspects of this car to you. It is just so quick. I mean, if you could see the way the boost builds here in the left-hand side of the driver dash, I mean, it builds so fast, especially in these lower gears. Let's talk a little bit about the transmission. It is a 9-speed dual clutch, which they call a 9G transmission out of Mercedes, and overall pretty great, except in first gear. You get this jerkiness, and you're whipped kind of back and forth if you don't shift out of first gear. It doesn't love that first gear ratio at all, especially if you're in Sport Plus or you're shifting manually. Back to the infotainment system. So I love the Apple CarPlay in this car. It's one of the best I've seen. The screen is massive, so you can actually take advantage of that. So we have Waze pulled up here, taking advantage of the entire width, the length of, or the width rather, of this giant screen. I believe it's about 19 inches wide. So you get this amazing view, and it's so easy to use in general and walk around. So you have two options. You can use your right thumb here to control where the button is, and if you want to go to calls or you want to go to the main menu, you can do that. or you can use this touchpad down here where my right pointer finger is. I wouldn't recommend this one. It's not that great. I actually like to keep my hands on the steering wheel and use this one. Now, you also might notice that there's also an additional touchpad. This controls everything on the dashboard. So I can actually go back and forth, and you have multiple functionalities and multiple data pieces that you can pull up here. So right now we're in dynamic. We have the exhaust and powerful mode. We're in manual, sport. You got all that information, plus real-time view of what the horsepower is, how much torque is being put down. You can see that here. So if I downshift a couple times, hit it, it'll show you we just put down 514 horsepower to the road, a little bit more torque there. So definitely a very cool feature to this car. Now, I like to stay in the CarPlay because if you are in, let's say, the main actual menus here, they're incredibly complicated to navigate. It takes you probably a week or so to actually understand and figure out what is going on with these menus. If you are tech savvy, you'll get it a little bit faster. But if you're, let's just say you're the normal person who is driving their AMG, you know, it's going to take them a long time, and they probably won't even get into a lot of these menus. One of those menus being track pace, which we'll show you shortly when we get to some better roads. But this allows really for unlimited customization and definitely a more modular approach to these types of functionalities in their infotainment system. I've always said Porsche makes the best infotainment system. I still believe that. Mercedes is a probably close second, then Audi. But in general, it's too complex. There's too many features. There's too many things that you can customize, and it's a bit overwhelming if you ask me. But one of the cool ones that I like to pull up often, see if we can get there while we're driving here.
A few moments later.
Oh, here we go. Engine data. Boom. So, real-time view of the horsepower, how much torque is being put down. Pretty cool. Downshift a couple times. I mean, that's sick, right? That's so cool. Engine temperature, oil pressure. So freaking cool. Now, in comfort mode, grocery getting mode, take your kids out to eat mode, super nice to drive. The handling and steering, luxurious. Everything you'd expect from an S-line Mercedes. But when you're bored, drop the kids off at school, right into S+, and you're shredding. You're going. Brakes are great. I think this car weighs about 5,500 pounds. And it goes and it stops very well. These AMG brakes are fantastic. I definitely recommend getting the upgraded brakes if you can, if you're speccing out this car. Oh, look at that. I think it's a Touring. Yeah, it's 911 GT3 Touring. That was sick. Wonder what color that was. Alright, so we're just in comfort mode now, cruising down this road. Once we get an opening, we can open her up, show you a little bit of track pace. But just in general, you know, the steering's great. It's comfortable, easy to drive. This car does have the magic ride control. It's kind of what I call it. I'm pretty sure that's what Mercedes calls it as well, where it surveys the road and actually tries to adjust the suspension in real time to make the ride more comfortable. But there's only so much a car can do on these crappy, pothole-filled roads in New Jersey. Some of the worst roads in the nation. Seriously, I did a 10,000-mile road trip across the United States this summer in an Escalade, and by far, New Jersey has the worst roads. That's where I grew up. That's where I've lived most of my life. Nothing compares to how crappy and bumpy and pothole filled these New Jersey roads are. For some reason, they just have their heads up their butts. They don't know what to do when filling potholes. All right, rant over. We are now in manual, Sport Plus, a little bit more of a windy road. Yeah, track-based is super cool. It shows you the engine speed, shows you the current consumption. All these are configurable. You can actually add, for example, the tire pressure for each of the wheels or one of the wheels, whatever you want, totally customizable. This is AMG's track pace that's in the S63. I think it's just a super cool feature that Mercedes puts out there in their cars. This is, more geared towards the racetrack, of course, but I like to turn it on sometimes, get the real-time animation of what the engine speed is looking like, things like that. Just pretty cool. Fun, fun, fun. Oh yeah, this is a good road. Don't kill the guy. Beast running up that hill. That must be tough. Okay, we'll do a quick 0 to 60 test here. All right. Mash the brake. Hit the accelerator. Wow. That is crazy on these snow tires. What was that? 3.7, I think. Yeah, 3.7. Holy shit. That was fast as hell. Cold day, 38 degrees on these snow tires. Just absolutely nuts. 605 horsepower being thrown down. That is crazy. What a car. Okay, demonstrating some of the self-driving capabilities of this vehicle. Wow, beautiful, beautiful skyline there in New York. Hopefully you guys can see that in the distance. That is just absolutely gorgeous. And I'm really excited to show you guys some of the self-driving features of this car, which was released in 2020, but Mercedes didn't really call this self-driving, but it does do self-driving. So what you're gonna go ahead and do is press the steering wheel icon here on the left, as well as the lane keep assist, and then we're gonna turn on adaptive cruise control. So, adaptive cruise control is on. I can accelerate or decelerate if I want. The lane keep is on, which is actually gonna turn the steering wheel, and also it's gonna let me know when I drift over to the sides. Now, this works great if you're going in a straight line on the highway. When you're not, it doesn't work that well. Like around the corners and stuff, when you're ripping on the highway and you have a tight corner, it's not as safe as I would say. That's why Mercedes doesn't really call this self-driving, but effectively the car does drive itself. Now you need to pay attention because you have to put your hand on the steering wheel every so often, but in general, in traffic or just see, there you go, you get the icon here. So we'll go ahead and put our hand on the steering wheel, but then we can take it off. You do have to pay attention, but it does allow a little bit of autonomy when you're cruising on the highway. Definitely a unique feature of this car and something that isn't talked about often with this model year, the 2020 S63. So we're just going to cruise a little bit and enjoy the self-driving capabilities of this vehicle. So we'll see how it handles this turn up here, get a sense of the car's ability to stay in the lane. Now it's able to steer the vehicle through a variety of sensors and cameras, LiDAR, and actual cameras like the parking cameras that typically pop up when you're parking the vehicle, as well as LiDAR. When you're driving the straight line, it's really just easy. It's nice. The adaptive cruise control is working great. If somebody comes into your lane, it will let you know that. You can adjust the gap here on the steering wheel next to the set icon. And in general, it's pretty great. Let's see how it handles this car kind of veering into my lane. See? Pretty great. Now, would I trust it around a turn like this one coming up? No. I definitely would always keep my hands near the steering wheel and always be paying attention, because that's what these systems are designed to do. They're designed to make things a little bit more autonomous, but ultimately the driver is responsible for piloting the vehicle. So it actually handled that bank of a turn very well. I'd say anything a little bit of a sharper degree, it's going to have trouble with. And actually what ends up happening is it will do one of these where, see, it kind of throws you back to the other side of the lane, more or less overcompensates for the lane shift. And of course, you saw there, the steering wheel icon was blinking at me. See, there you go, did it again. If you don't put your hand back on the steering wheel, the car will disengage everything and actually gradually slow down, which is a safety feature. Pretty cool for a 2020 car, honestly. I mean, just to see how far this self-driving capability has come. I mean, you have adaptive cruise control, right? That was kind of that first evolution of self-driving or autonomous, semi-autonomous driving. Then you have lane assist, right? When you combine those two together, you do get most of the way there. See, that's pretty good. But in general, you don't have that Tesla full self-driving capability that you would in a vehicle like this. See, a turn like that did not like anything that's really sharper than, I'd say, like, 20 degrees. You're going to want to keep your hand on the steering wheel. Slow down a little bit. Just turn. But yeah, that's it for a review. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and this type of content. Give one last pull here. So much fun. Hell yeah. So that's it. This is the 2020 Mercedes Benz S63 AMG. That's a review. Hope you guys liked it. If you like this type of content, consider subscribing. We got a lot more cars coming up in the pipeline. Very excited to share them with you. We got some cool, brand new 2023 model years and some unique one-of-one vehicles that I'm extremely excited to show you guys. As always, this is ShiftyStan. I'm Stan. Have a great day, everyone.